week. We're so excited. I got Lisa Mathews with me from Williamson Medical Center. She's a registered dietitian. And so we're going to cut through all the craziness. It's January. I know that a lot of you have been starting maybe a new diet or want to try healthy eating and maybe got derailed with the snow events because it's more comfort food on those days. We're here to talk about a few things and help you get back on track. Lisa, how's it going this morning?
It's great. Chilly, cold out, but
We were just talking about that. I was out early and I think it was 19 degrees. It was so cold. Hey, listen, I want to talk about, I've been seeing a lot of things, and I know people are really interested in how they can make big healthy changes in their diet, or some people choose diets. There's so many diets out there. I feel like we hear about every January, this time of year. You know, the holidays are over. There's like the keto, the paleo, of these apps, the Noom, the Weight Watchers, all these things. But I want you to help us cut through all that. And you just told me something before we got started. I think it's so fascinating. I think we should talk about. People pick one of these plans, make all the recipes, think they're going to lose all this weight, and then they realize they don't. So help us understand what happens.
so a lot of these fad diets, I'm not super fond of them. Following them short term, it's probably not going to hurt you at all. But
Yeah.
th- they're oftentimes cutting out food groups. And I just
Carbs.
don't think that's very wise because there are food groups out there that a lot of these cut out that are loaded with nutrients, vitamins, minerals, and you're missing all of that when you cut those food groups out. Their argument a lot of times is, well, I'll take a supplement on the nutrients I'm missing out on. Well, when we take a supplement, that's man-made. That's not clean eating. I'd rather my clients get their nutrients, get their nutrition from food. I always promote food first. Supplements are okay, especially if you're deficient, but they should be just that, a supplement, not a substitute for healthy eating.
Oh, I like that.
Yes.
There's another thing we talked about that I've been seeing lots of places right now, and it's where people are talking about how you become insulin resistant. So when that happens, it seems like you're not going to lose weight. People don't
Right.
understand how that works. Help me explain to everybody, what is insulin resistance?
Well, when people come to me and want to know kind of what's one thing I can do that can make a big difference in my diet, and maybe because I'm a diabetes educator and I'm very fond of talking about this, but cut back on those sugars, cut back on those processed, refined carbs, because what happens when we eat those, it spikes our sugar. We get these big spikes and then plummets, and then a spike when we eat again, and then another plummet. And our bodies don't like that. Our bodies want to be in a state of homeostasis. They want steady sugars. They want it to be, our bodies want to be in a steady state. And so when we're constantly eating those foods that are spiking our sugars, what's happening when those sugars go up, our bodies are being told to release a hormone called insulin. Okay, so insulin, what it does is it moves the sugar that we've eaten, it moves it into the cells in our body, because when it's in the cells, that's where it does all of its work. That's where it gives us energy. That's where it does all the things it needs to do, is once it's in the cell. So that's what insulin does. It helps to move that sugar into our cells. So when you think about it, you eat a diet or you eat a meal high in carbs, high in processed carbs, high in those added sugars, then your body's going to release a ton of insulin to clear that sugar. Okay, what insulin does also is tell our body to hang on to fat, because it sees the sugar in our system and it's like, you know what, we're going to use this sugar for the energy that you need. We're not going to burn this stored fat. So now your body's in a constant state of hanging on to fat and using all the sugar you're eating for its energy. So you may be working out, thinking you're eating great, but maybe it's the timing of the food that you're eating, how much food you're eating at one time, to help prevent those spikes so that your body doesn't store onto that extra fat and hang on to it. It burns it.
Okay, you've said a couple things that I find really interesting. So you're not saying eliminate carbs at all.
No.
I just want
Carbs
to
are
make sure.
important. And that's the thing with some of these diets. The keto diet, 70% fat.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Keto diet is loaded with fat because it wants, your body breaks fat down to these ketone bodies and it wants to use the ketones for energy. But that is a huge high fat diet. So if you're someone that deals with heart disease, or maybe heart disease is running your family and you want to prevent from developing heart disease later in life, you don't want to eat a diet so loaded with fat, and it's only 10% carbs on that diet. So again, those carbs are loaded with those nutrients that you need. So when we talk about carbs and eating carbs appropriately so that it's not spiking our sugars, we want to make sure we eat those nutrient-dense carbs, the carbs that are loaded with those fibers. We want to eat carbs along with a protein or a healthy fat, because that's going to slow down the digestion of the carb. Okay, so we don't ever want to eat a carb by itself. And a lot of times I'll tell people, if they're just, okay, this is it, Lisa, I'm not giving this up. I have to have my sweet treat at night, period. I recommend having that little bit of sweet along with a protein. So maybe having a little block of really dark chocolate, a very small piece, along with a few nuts, because that's a healthy fat. That's going to slow down the digestion of that sweet. Plus, dark chocolate doesn't have nearly as much sugar in it as a milk chocolate or a white chocolate. So it's about figuring out what is going to work best for you to help regulate those blood sugars. So pairing those healthy carbs with that healthy fat and that protein.
Yeah, I like that you mentioned that, because I do like a little bit of dark chocolate. So now I'm going to add my nuts with that. So that's a great tip. I'm writing that down right now. Talk to me about like pasta. Like, you know, we just had those snow days. It was easy to make a big bowl of pasta for the family. It feels good. It's cold outside. How would that apply to something like that as well?
Have it. Have your pasta. Enjoy it. When you start restricting yourself, when you start restricting your body, you know, our bodies are wonderful. They're magnificently made. They're going to crave the things that they need. Okay. Pasta's loaded with B vitamins. If you do whole wheat pasta, it's got lots of fiber in there. Those are good things for our systems. Have the pasta. But what I would recommend is have a nice green salad first. Pack that salad with some healthy nuts, seeds, maybe put a little bit of avocado on there, a healthy fat. Then have a side of pasta. Instead of having the side salad, have the salad as kind of your main, and then have that side helping of pasta and enjoy it. And don't beat yourself up the entire time you're eating it. I find that people struggle with that too. They think they know what they should be doing and the plan they should be following. And then when they veer off of that, they beat themselves up. And that's not helping anything. You know, that is not creating healthy talk surrounding food. That's just beating yourself up and making you feel like a bad person because you've eaten a bad food, which no food is bad unless you're allergic to it. Then it might be a little bit bad. But every food has its place. And it's just knowing what your body needs and making the right choices. So I recommend often to just do a food log. Keep a food log for about a week. Doesn't have to be anything crazy detailed. You don't have to write calories down and fat grams and all of it. Just write down the food items and the time. Okay. At the end of the week, go through that, circle with one color all the places you've eaten sugar. Circle with another color all the places you've had protein, with a different color all the places you've had fruits and vegetables. And then at the end of the week, look at that. That's your data. So if you're a numbers person, if you're a data person, this is really intriguing for you. Look at that and figure out, you know what? I'm not eating enough fruits and vegetables. Maybe in the morning for breakfast, I'll have a green smoothie each day. You know, or maybe I'm eating way too much sugar. So what can I do to still feel satisfied, still feel like I'm having a little bit of that sweet treat, but I'm cutting it way back? So maybe if you're a big ice cream lover, you know, you have a little bit of Greek yogurt, a little plain Greek yogurt with a little drizzle of honey on it. Throw some slivered almonds on there, maybe some blueberries. Okay, that's very satisfying. It's creamy like ice cream is, and you feel satisfied. If you're a soda drinker, maybe get carbonated water. Okay, add a little squeeze of lemon to it or orange so you feel like you're getting that carbonation, but you're not getting all that sugar.
Mm. Okay. Wow. I love what you're telling us. Let's talk real quick before we go, because you've given us so much great information. We
I
don't
could talk
want to
about this for
overwhelm.
hours. We've only got 10 minutes.
But I don't want to overwhelm everyone, because I think this is so great, because there are so many things, like we just said, so many fad diets, and diet culture does make you feel bad if you eat one food and you don't eat another food. So I think this is good for you to tell us, hey, it's okay. Just try to do them in a different combination. Let's talk real quick about alcohol, because I know a lot of people do dry January. We were just talking about this in the gym this morning. And we were like, oh man, we feel like sometimes our sugar intake goes up if you drink certain types of alcohol. So let's talk about how we can add those in our diet, or what we should do.
Sure. Well, there's obviously going to be the situations where you're going to want to have a glass of wine or you're going to want to have a cocktail. Okay, that I get that. So try when you're out, if you're at a party or if you're at a dinner, getting a glass of wine or getting a drink that's got some alcohol in it with, say, a diet beverage, or maybe you're using a club soda instead of something sugary. And then have a full glass of water after you've had that drink, so that you're not constantly ordering drink after drink. Just tell yourself, I'm going to have a drink. After I have this, I'm drinking a full glass of water. You'll be floating before you. So that's one thing that you can do at night. If you're having that glass of wine when you get home from work, or that drink because you're stressed out and you want to relax, try to do other things to relax. I love downloading meditation apps. Take 10, 15 minutes when you get home from work, pop that meditation app on, listen to that. Hot teas, herbal teas. I love doing that. I love different flavors of those carbonated drinks. Sunweek is a great brand. It's just, you feel like you're doing something to treat yourself, but it's not going overboard. I really try to steer people in the direction of thinking of other things they can do for self-care versus the alcohol. And yes, I love a glass of wine myself. I have that too, but I try to do it in moderation. And then again, when I'm out at an event, I try to do a full glass of water each time I have a drink.
Okay, man, so much good information. Thank you so much,
You're welcome.
Lisa, for sharing. I have a quick question. What about the non-alcoholic drinks that have come out? There's so many new ones right now, and a lot of people are trying those to like avoid or switching out. How do you feel about those?
Sure. Well, the non-alcoholic beverages are fine. Look for the sugar content.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say
that's
that.
not loaded with sugar, and then make your own. Have the herbal tea, have the club soda with a splash of pomegranate juice in it, or a lemon or an orange. Think of some things that you can do on your own to kind of settle your system and cut out some of that alcohol without adding lots of sugar.
Yeah. Okay. If people want to meet with you one-on-one and work on their diet, how can they do that?
Sure. Well, I work at Williamson Medical Center. So they can reach out to Williamson Medical Center. I'm the clinical nutrition manager here. So they can ask for Lisa Mathews or the clinical nutrition manager. And that's how they can get a hold of me.
Okay, great. All right. I know some people are going to be calling you now, because now they're like, okay, I got to work on my diet.
Yes.
But you've given us so many things. You've made us feel so much better, and we don't feel guilty. So thank you for that.
You're so welcome. It was great speaking with you.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We will see